while we were busy minding our own business, Yul came out in social media. He announced that he now has a second wife, and he has a son with the second wife, and that he loves the son as he loves the first, all the kids of the first wife. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least he's able to take responsibility of the child. But I think what most people didn't find funny is the fact that he really said a lot of nice things about the first wife. He said the way she was patient with him, how she waited for him to really get to where he is today, how she was help supporting him when he didn't even have a job, how she said she would manage regardless of the fact that he didn't have money. So all those things are things that you would have expected when a man says that he would have at least stood with the first wife. But the fact is that he went ahead, even with all that in mind, and married a second wife. So most of the people that went to his social media, and of course, a majority of them were not happy with him marrying a second wife, because nowadays it's out of fashion to marry second wife. A good number of them didn't like it at all, because as much as we say it's all about our culture, because the majority of the bloggers talked about it's our culture. And I was looking at it and I was wondering which part of our culture says that men should marry more than one wife. It is something that people just put for themselves, that they can be greedy, they can do whatsoever they want, especially in Africa, that men can marry as many wives as they want. It's okay to marry if they want to marry. But at the end of the day, during our forefathers' times, people married more than one wife because there were reasons why they did so. It was for survival reasons. And we know that during that time, there were not as many people as there are today. We are not in need of bigger population. In fact, we are trying to control the population too, so that we can all fit in this small space that is there today. But during our forefathers' time, there was need for more population. They needed more manpower because people needed, there was need for more manpower, especially in the farms. And because the healthcare system was bad, they needed to increase survival of kids. That is why they gave birth to many, many, many kids. And there was no family control. There was no family planning these days. So at the end of the day, there were many kids born, but the survival rate was lower. People lived, because of the life type of quality of life, it was poor. It's not as today that the life expectancy has increased all over the world in most places because of good healthcare system. Those days, people would pass on early. So we can't be comparing the past with today. Surely we are in a modern world with education, good healthcare system, good infrastructure. We no longer go to the farm. People go to offices to work. It's not like people are not doing farming. They are doing farming, but they are using mechanized labor. So we don't need that. We are not living in the circumstances of those days. So we cannot be carrying a culture that is already outdated to suit today. And in any case, as we are talking about polygamy as something that our forefathers did, it had its own effects. Men as they are by nature, they are not able to multitask. So I do not understand when it comes to love and marriage, why people seem to think that men can multitask. If you go to these marriages that you are calling polygamy, they will say, oh, my father tried to love every woman the same. There is nothing like that. There will always be one wife that is more favored than the rest. And it is by the virtue of the fact that men can only focus their energies to one direction at a time. They are not multitaskers like women. And then at the end of the day, to control women, because women by nature compete a lot. If you are controlling a home with more than one wife, and all the women are there competing, and the man is there in between. For the men, some of them will be feeling nice that women are competing for them. But at the end of the day, there is nothing good about that kind of competition, because seriously, the women will be fighting for the man's attention, and the man will be struggling both financially, emotionally, to meet the needs of every other of every woman. And sometimes the kids don't get to get enough attention because the man is more focused in pleasing the women, and the women are more focused on pleasing the men, that they forget themselves and their kids. So children grow up being emotionally deprived. And because of the competition that goes in there, that they learn, the kind of fear that the man will exert, because to control these women, either he will use physical energy to control them, all of them, so that they can be intimidated, to calm down, they can stay in peace, or he will use manipulation or mental or emotional blackmail. He will always say, some of them will always like say, if you're not doing this, I will not do this. Like, it will be like so much toxicity that will be used to control this family. So when the children get to learn that kind of toxicity, they grow up to become toxic people. So we know what polygamy can do to children. So you cannot just come out as a celebrity that was respected. Let me say that was respected as he was. One that is aspiring even to become a presidential candidate in the upcoming elections, to announce to us that he has just gone and married a second wife. It's not something that one should be proud of. And even if there was a child, because the child is innocent, he could have just developed a co-parenting strategy. I mean, there are so many celebrities that are doing co-parenting. I know we are just like trying to analyze his situation, but we're also trying to see the mistakes that he's making. And we are learning from them. You know, sometimes when we make these kind of blogs, I mean, they are not just for fun. They are also for other people to learn from, because there are so many people, especially the youth, that look up to celebrities as role models. And this is where I say, when we are looking up to these celebrities as role models, we really need to look at to what extent can we actually use them as our role models. Because some of them are really not like role models per se. Polygamy at this age and time is something that is not good. At least there is divorce. If he is fed up with the first wife, he can just divorce and get married to another wife. Then that way it's better than having to marry a second wife and a woman comes in and there will be competition that will never end. And he's just there in between, trying to meet the needs of every one of them. You know, it's not easy. So, and for the women also, that are living their own comfortable zones as side chicks, to start interfering with marriages that are already existing. Women, we need to stop doing that to each other, because that is complete that. I mean, as a woman, you are packing into another woman's house. What are you looking for there? It's just trouble. Because at the end of the day, this man that you are going into the relationship with looks like he loves you, but at the end of the day, his attention will be divided. You cannot get it fully. So why would you want to live such a life? Because I always say, side chicks that want to go into marriages that are already existing are people that feel worthless about themselves. These are people that have no proper self-esteem. Everybody has the opportunity to get their own man if they want their own man. But if you decide that going to get another person's man is what you want, in fact, some of these side chicks, if they were the ones, they would never accept a second wife. I don't know why they are doing it in the first place. And for the men that are looking at Yul Edochie and feeling like he's okay or justifying, there's nothing to justify. Polygamy is not good for you as a man. You need to understand that it can cause mental health issues as you are in between there struggling in this modern time to meet the expectations of each and every of these women. It's not just about the money. The modern woman needs much more than the money. So even if you feel like you have enough resources in terms of money, woman is not just about the money. They need much more than that. The emotional part, and women are more aware now. It's not those days that they are just looking for some of these women that are even getting married as second wife. It's not money that is driving them into that relationship. It's more about the love. So it is important for the men to also understand these are not the days that they used to say in the olden days, oh, because I have so much wealth, I can take care of more than one wife. Oh, I don't know. The women of today need much more than money. Women can make money today, something they couldn't do before, as much as they do today. So it's something that men also need to be aware of. So men need to start condemning this kind of behavior because it's not good for them, for their health, their mental health. It's not also good for their lifestyle in terms of they will get lifestyle diseases because of stress. So it is something that men need to also stand against. Not something to say, if a man, let him do what is, of course, but it's to whose detriment? It is to the man's detriment, not just to the woman. Please subscribe to our channel. Click the like button and also comment. Leave your comments below. Let's know what you think about this issue. Thank you.